It was supposed to be just another lecture, but when David walked in, his steps slowed. His seat, his assigned seat in the front row, was already taken. A man he'd never seen before sat there, arms crossed, eyes cold. The man was older, dressed in a crisp suit that looked out of place among the students. The smirk on his face said everything. "You don't belong here." The professor glanced up, froze for a second, then looked away, shuffling his papers. No one in the lecture hall spoke, but the air grew heavy with something ugly and unspoken. David didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He just stood there, waiting. What the man didn't know was that he was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. Before we continue, tell us where in the world you are watching from. Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more powerful content like this. David wasn't new to being underestimated. He was a top student on a full academic scholarship, the first in his family to attend this prestigious university. He had worked harder than anyone he knew to get here. That seat wasn't just a piece of furniture to him. It was his place, a space he had earned through late nights in the library, through sacrifice, and an unshakable belief in himself. Every morning, he arrived early, organized his notes, and prepared his mind. But this day was different. As he entered, the usual pre-lecture chatter died down. All eyes flicked toward the front of the room, then toward him. There, in his seat, sat the stranger, leaning back as if he owned the entire hall, daring anyone to challenge him. David could feel the stares, the tension building like a storm gathering on the horizon. Something was about to break. His footsteps were the only sound as he walked down the aisle toward his seat. The man didn't move, didn't even acknowledge him, just stared straight ahead with a tight jaw. The smirk deepened, as if he was enjoying the silent confrontation. The professor looked up again, his expression nervous before pretending to be absorbed in his notes. A few students exchanged uneasy glances. The unspoken message was clear to everyone. This wasn't just about a chair. David stopped right beside the desk. The man's hand rested flat on the polished wood, his fingers tapping a slow, arrogant rhythm. It was a gesture of ownership, a silent warning. This is mine now. David's heart beat faster, but his face remained a mask of calm. The minutes ticked by, the lecture unable to begin. Someone coughed nervously. A phone buzzed. Still, the man refused to move. David thought of all the times he'd been told to just ignore people like this, to keep his head down and not make waves. But this wasn't some quiet insult. This was a public challenge, an act designed to humiliate him, to strip him of his dignity in front of his peers. And yet, David stayed silent because he knew something the man didn't. In just a few moments, the power in this room was about to shift completely. He reached into his backpack, not for a book, not for a pen, but for a sealed envelope marked with the university's official crest. When he opened it, the rustle of the thick paper made the man finally glance up. David's expression didn't change. The trap was already set. The professor's voice finally cut through the silence, thin and strained. "Mr. Anderson, is there a problem?" David stepped forward and placed the letter on the desk directly in front of the man. Inside was an official announcement from the university president. It detailed the creation of a new student advisory position to the Board of Trustees, a role given to only the most exceptional student. The final sentence named David Anderson as the first ever appointee. His duties included reporting on classroom conduct and ensuring university policies were upheld. The man's smirk vanished. His eyes darted from the letter to David, then to the now pale professor. "This is my seat," David said, his voice even and clear, "and you are in violation of university policy." The weight of the room shifted instantly. Whispers erupted, and phones were tilted to record the moment. The professor cleared his throat, suddenly standing straighter. The man stood up slowly, his expensive suit now seeming like a costume. His arrogance had drained away, replaced by a flush of humiliation as he walked toward the door. The challenge was over. David sat down, his hand steady, his focus already turning to the lecture ahead. But the lesson that day wasn't in the professor's notes. It was for everyone who had watched in silence. Respect isn't something you are given by those who doubt you. It's something you claim by standing firm in your own worth. The man left without a single word, swallowed by the heavy silence of someone forced to confront his own prejudice. For David, it was just another reminder that ignorance thrives in the shadows, but crumbles when exposed to the bright light of truth. In classrooms and workplaces all over the world, moments like this happen every day, most with no one to see them. But when they are seen, when they are confronted, they send ripples far beyond a single room.